I'm hunting for a tiny little gray rubber conductive pad. You know, like the stuff that calculator buttons are made out of. Don't tell me you never took apart a calculator. Well, I'm hunting for it because I need to fix the boys' dump truck that I broke. And here's the yellow button. That is the push button part of it. I'm leaving that there because I'm relatively certain that the little gray thing fell out in the same place as the yellow thing. Now I have just yet to determine how long am I going to hunt for this thing. Well, after digging through the weeds for much longer than I wanted to, I finally got tired of it and, well, called it a loss. But that's okay. It just gives us the opportunity to fix it from a little bit further down the road than I had initially intended. So first things first, I suppose that I'm obligated to tell the story behind how I broke my son's garbage truck. A while back, some friends of ours gave us a couple of trucks for the boy. And this one has a really cool feature where you pump the little button on the top of it and it dumps the dump truck. And then you push the little lever here and it lets it down. Well, I got to looking at this one thinking that it was the same way with the little button on the top, and I pushed it and it was very stiff, so I pushed a little harder and it was still stiff. So what do? I did the same thing anybody else would do. I pushed even harder. Well, eventually it broke. I broke the little circuit board rather, off the bottom side of it, and I realized that rather than being pneumatic, it was just a little electronic button, little switch. So now I'm going to see what I can do about fixing it. I'm going to start by taking this little guy apart. I'm really hoping that that's not stripping something out doing that. I guess we shall see. Alright. See if I can fit that screwdriver in there. It's just the right size. Love it when a plan comes together. If you take stuff apart, you need to get yourself some little bitty screwdrivers. Make your life a lot easier. Well, at least it'll make taking stuff apart a lot easier. Alright, let's see. Get those screws out. Oh, there we go. They came out. Well, I was hoping to have a little bit better access than that. What do we do? Alright, I think I know where I'm going to start. I'm going to have to resolder this wire onto the little circuit card here. And I keep saying a circuit card. I think it's properly called a circuit board. Isn't it a circuit board? Anyhow, I'm going to rewire it onto here. I don't know if you can see what's going on here with this little dude. There's all these circuits and paths, but this is serving the absolute simplest function. All it is a switch. With this attached to that path and a white one attached to the other, when you complete the circuit by pushing on that button. That's all it is. So since that's torn out of there, I see a little hole where I can push the wires through, maybe push the wires through here and solder it in. We'll give it a try. There we go. Soldering iron, where are you? Aha! Alright, soldering iron and solder remover. It's one of the coolest little tools that I know. I didn't know for the longest time that something like that existed. A solder remover. But you just like cock it, you heat up the solder, put the little tip of it there, and push the button, and it sucks the solder off of the solder joint. Pretty cool. Get the soldering iron plugged in. Probably could have done this a little earlier, since I knew I was going to be doing some soldering. Oh well. Hang that guy up there. While we're at it, let's see if I can take this guy any further apart, or if I need to. You know what? Just for grins, I'm gonna. If you have a screwdriver that's magnetized and you're working on your workbench that is, of course, filled with metal filings and whatnot, your screwdriver is bound to get filings all over it, and that's pretty irritating. The best way to get rid of them that I've found is, rather than trying to brush it off, because, well, it's really not gonna work. All it's gonna do is cause it to come to a point. Just whacking on something hard, preferably something hard and metal, and that shock will knock all those filings off. But what's that got to do with anything? Nothing. Alright, what do we got here? There's a little circuit board, not a circuit card. What's going on there? If I need to be concerned with that or not. We shall see. Wait till that soldering iron heats up. Soldering iron is hot. So, what am I going to do here? Oh, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take apart, sort of, and show you the little tiny gray thing that I was looking for. Turns out there's another button, another switch in there, and this is the thing that I was looking for. So this is the thing that I'm going to be replicating out of, well, I mentioned calculator buttons. I'm going to build it out of a calculator button. Put this back together so I don't lose this one too. Kind of cool that there's another one in there, so I can look at it and see if I'm how close to correct I'm getting it. Alright, I'm going to desolder this guy. Alright. This is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Wires didn't go to anywhere complicated. They're just soldered together and went to the same spot. Let's see if I can make that happen again. Alright, so it's pretty clear that I am not going to be able to put both the wires through there, through that hole. I don't know if you can see here, this wire just kind of barely fits through it. Maybe I'll try it. Why not? Alright, yep, I can't get them through there. So, I'm going to solder a little dot and hold that wire to the circuit board. Alright, I'm going to do something I should have done earlier. Just going to clip this thing to itself here. I can hold it steady. Not much worse than trying to solder something that won't hold still. There we go. Much better. Alright, I think I've got it. One coming through the back, one through the front. And the big question will be, did it make contact like it's supposed to? And before I get too awful far down, crazy far down the road of putting this thing all back together, I am going to put some batteries in it. And I'm going to test that little solder joint that I just made, because I would hate to put it all back together only to discover that either the doggone thing doesn't work anyway, or the solder joint was bad. Let's give it a try. Something's happening here. Okay. Let us borrow that little plunger. Try it here. See if anything happens. This is a little garbage can picker upper. It worked a minute ago. There we go. Alright, it appears everything that's supposed to do stuff that works. See if this guy works. Well, I think it all works. Here I was hoping there was some sort of little actuator to make it do the dump truck thing. Oh well, that's okay. It'll still all light up.
Man, somehow this video got longer than I expected it to be. I'm going to have to cut it up into 2 parts, and I'll try to get part 2 up, get it all cut together and get it put up tomorrow. Stick with it. I appreciate it if you've made it this far. I commend you. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you on part 2.